All right, moving
Maybe you
on.
got a
Let's
little
start this.
poltergeist situation going on over there. It's like, nah, I'm a
Oh, it
fucking
says the
gamer.
guy who disappears mid-sentence. Anyways.
Vamping. All right, so we're on what you've been playing over here. Number 3. I'm Carlos Macias, your host of this here fine program, along with Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Do not touch your cables, Dalan. Do not touch
Hey,
your
don't
cables.
bamf, Carlos. Don't bamf.
We're trying to not bamf, just so people know. Apparently, I'm like in the middle of a sentence and I'm just like disappearing on people. On my end, in my defense, I'm still speaking. I'm still finishing my sentence. But if I disconnect like that, I understand that's a little harsh. Deo Blas, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you, Carlos. Irish goodbye, Macias. Thank you.
Irish
Thank you
goodbye. I don't even know what that means, to be honest. It sounds a little dangerous.
It means exactly what it sounds like.
It just means someone disappears, I guess. But someone's bamfing out here. And Luis Mendez, he's going to hang out with us. He's like, I don't got much to say. I'm
going to go get a drink.
Hey, do what you will. But we got stuff to say because Deo played something interesting. And I keep... Where's the camera, man?
Don't blow your load.
Stop logging into GTA 5. Please, just stop doing it. I know they're working on it. They said they're working on it, right? But we gotta give them some
It
pressure.
just makes it take longer.
Yeah, because they're like, yeah, we'll get around to it. They're like, they're gonna be like Gabe Newell over there delivering Steam decks because they're like, they're still logging in. We're still getting our cut. So for what you've been playing, I did tease it a little bit on yesterday's episode of Salient Points. I am playing the GOAT game, apparently, quote unquote, GOAT, greatest game of all time. So far, which is Elden Ring, is what people are saying. So far, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but it is very accessible. It is a nice game. It looks pretty. It runs smooth. It does give you the options like most games nowadays. These next gen games, it gives you the option of performance versus graphic quality, and of course, I go for the graphical quality. In the case of this game, though, I think I want all the frames. I want as many frames as possible. Because it's a little rough. I got to dodge big old enemies. And I'm already critical pathing. Don't you worry, Dalan. There is kind of I know online people are like, oh, you don't have a task. Like, no, they give you a task. You're following a light. You're following a light, I guess.
That's not what I'm concerned about when I hear these reports of Elden Ring. I hear these reports of people playing Elden Ring on the PC. And 40% of them are like, this game is breaking. It's breaking. All over the place. It's broken ring.
PC
it is broken ring.
I am playing it on PS5, and I did do I think I did one of them, but I don't know if it was Elden Ring or it might have been Horizon actually, where I bought the PS4, got the PS5 version. But as far as the PS5 version of Elden Ring, it's working. It's working pretty good. The loading's nice. It's not too crazy. Which sometimes I'm like, should this be instantaneous? This SSD has spoiled us, man. This SSD has spoiled us. So there's a little bit of a load, but I like it. There is plenty of checkpoints. So if you die, you're not that far. And you can fast travel all over the place. I did choose, like I said last time on Salient Points, I did choose a samurai. So I'm kind of looking forward to it's a womanly samurai, which you can't see with all the gear. Which is interesting, but every time characters talk to me, like, they refer to me as she and her. I'm like, oh, that's right, it's a female character.
Oh, that's right, I'm a female. Right. That's how I feel about my warlock.
But I do gotta say, man, I do have to say, I thought it was BS. Like we were mentioning a little bit on Salient Points, I thought it was BS. They're like, oh, it's more accessible, and a lot of it feels like, why are you not playing this game? A lot of the hype online, right? It's like, you're wrong for not playing this game. This is the greatest game of all time. I'm not there yet, like I said, but it just gave me some Breath of the Wild vibes. It's giving me some, like, you know what, I want to go. I already got to a spot where I'm, like, going down a cave, and I'm like, you know what, I don't know if I'm ready for this cave. So I'm, like, walking out of places, and you can definitely, like, kind of, you see big bosses or kind of mini bosses, and I've already walked past some of them. I was like, I don't want to deal with this. But I've also dealt with some, like, towering enemies that I'm already trying to, like, cheese them, shooting arrows from afar. I'm liking it, man. I'm really digging it. I hope you guys kind of play it in the next, whenever you play it, and we could discuss it a little bit more. But Elden Ring, give it a shot. I would say it's definitely more accessible. I'm having fun with it. Dalan, we both collectively though have been playing a little something right in the past week. Why don't you kind of break it down for us a little bit?
Break it down. Witch Queen. That's the whole breakdown. Anyways,
At least I can
we've
see
been
you this
playing.
episode.
That's good for you, because you're the only one who could never see me. But but Destiny 2, the Witch Queen's expansion, and I'm gonna bring it back because I'm gonna ride the soapbox. Rip off artist. Don't get me wrong. Uh, don't get me wrong. The Witch Queen is an awesome campaign, and I had so much fun with it, especially when I had the chance to play most of it by myself and really get to absorb the story that comes from the expansion. And on top of that, they made most of the little extra stories and strike and exotic quest roll into what the Witch Queen is. And we haven't even gotten to the raid yet because that hasn't dropped.
Ooh, that's coming up this week. It's coming up in a few days.
Yeah, kill screen coming up. But there's still the fact that right before this happened, there was the need to buy the previous 3 seasons because you couldn't buy them individually. You had to buy them all in one pack. Then right next to that is the 30th anniversary expansion that came out, or a DLC that came out in December. And then like 2 months later, this other game's going to come out, and you got to either pay $40,
now, Dalan, I will say this. I will
$80.
Dan, I will say this. I understand you're on a soapbox right now, but let's get off the
soapbox.
I
told you, man. Soapbox.
Witch Queen, do you agree that people are kind of like the best campaign Destiny has ever had? Because I think the last one, the Taken King one, was pretty good.
The Taken King was Destiny 1, Carlos.
Yeah,
Taken King was excellent. Yeah. And then the other one that was excellent was Forsaken. Taken King, Forsaken. And now we have the Witch Queen, which they did a great job of implementing a bunch of actual cutscenes and people actually doing stuff. You don't just see the Warlock and the Warlock does absolutely nothing. She's actually in the story with you. Yeah. So, what made Forsaken so fun was Cade 6 was doing stuff with you.
I've been digging it, man. And I definitely went for. Okay, Dan. Look, I know I'm trying to get you off your soapbox, but
you bring back the soapbox. Bring it back.
Hey, day one, I paid $40 for the expansion, right? And already I start hitting like little blocks where it's like, oh, you need the season of this. Like, what? I just bought this game. And already they're like, you need to pay $10 for the season. So it's one of those things where it's like, expect to pay $10 whole. You don't need to pay the $10 to see like the actual Witch Queen campaign. But you're going to run into crap where you're like, okay, I need to pay $10 for this. But other than that, it's Destiny. It's giving us plenty of things to do. The campaign is pretty good. I like no spoilers, but kind of like towards the end. It's not a long campaign, right? The campaign itself is not super long, but it's kind of nice. And when you get to the end, like the tease, which I'm assuming that's going to be the raid, right? When you get towards the end of like, oh, this is what the raid is going to be. This guy right here, this weird looking fella here. So I'm pretty hyped about this week. And they didn't screw us over like they have before, where they actually expect people to poop socket and be ready 3 days later after they drop the expansion and then they drop the raid. They're actually giving us a week, right, to get ready.
Even with your statement of saying that the campaign was short, even though you paid $40, I'm going to ask you this specific question, then I'll move on. Do you believe that the $40 that you paid, plus the $10 if you like, was worth the amount of time? Was worth the amount of time that you had to put into it?
With Destiny, you have to accept that you're paying a premium.
Oh, snaps!
You're paying a premium price for a premium product. It's so damn good, dude. It's
smooth.
Dude. It's
a good story. They give you extra stuff now, more specials, more customization. They just did a whole lot.
You have to just accept that you just have to grind some stuff. You got to understand that you're going to have to go back.
Hey, we're paying Bungie's employees to keep going, keep doing it.
Yeah, and it's all based on the quest tab now, right? Before, kind of the missions, it took you mission to mission. Now it's like you're going into the quest tab, and it's like, okay, I got to do this next step. So they're done it a little bit better, but yes, there is a grind involved. But there's still plenty of us we're still peeling back the layers here.
Hey, the onboarding process for new players is still trash.
Okay. Dale, are you planning based on how much we've convinced you, I'm sure, with what we've been saying, you're gonna join us for some Witch Queen at some point?
I really do. No, yeah, yes. I really do, because like it looks super fun, and the thing is, like, I don't know what the pricing is for a lot of time. I just get so confused and flustered that I'm just like, I'm gonna go back and play Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Or something stupid like that.
Something
But,
that's
yeah,
not crazily priced, right?
With friends.
Straight up said Cyberpunk is stupid. Let's not go back to something stupid.
No, but like if I'm playing with friends and stuff, I mean, you guys have a blast all the time. I know you guys do. So.
But that's what you did, though, right? You went back to Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh, let's talk. Let's talk about that, Dale. We'll transition.
He's like, we forgot what happened. We got quiet.
You did finish Cyberpunk,
Missing
right?
the
Which
transition.
I think you had said
Yes.
last time, or I don't know. You talked about it previously. You were basically at the end, though, right? Like you were just like a mission or two away. But you were holding off. You were trying to do kind of side story stuff, or.
No, I got really busy, so I couldn't finish it. And because I have my Xbox Series X's in our living room, and I share it with my wife, and she likes watching her, murder mystery podcast, TV shows, whatever. And so I was just waiting for like a night that I could be like, okay, I'm gonna settle in and finish this whole damn thing. But then I wanted to romance like Panem and do all that jazz. For like a little
was she
bit,
watching you? Was your wife watching you do all that stuff? Like, it's like I'm gonna romance this character.
You're like, no, this is the X-rated stuff. We're gonna take this out of the room.
Going back real quick to just real quick, and we'll continue on Cyberpunk. But the character creator on Elden Ring. Some of it is a little funky, and they're basically showing people in their chonies. That's a Mexican term for underwears, but or a little slang there. But it's like it's a little uncomfortable messing with this character. Can we get off this full body screen? And Cyberpunk, if you remember, Dale, at the very beginning. There's some penises and vagina if you're not careful.
It's
in that
still
game.
like
It's
that.
Explicit,
No,
dude.
yeah.
Or a little bit of both, apparently.
Yeah, after the 1.5 patch, you could go back in and customize your character through the mirror now.
Yeah,
and like you could just totally strip them down naked, man. And you see everything.
The problem is, even if you're trying to avoid it, right? Like,
man, y'all some dirty people. All you're talking about is making these avatars naked, being in the mirror. Let's see some penises. Good job, Carlos.
No, dude, you gotta understand, dude. Cyberpunk, you're switching the clothes and they go naked for half a second. Like, why? Just change the clothes. Like, why did they go naked for half a second?
It's gotta load. SSD is not that fast.
They're wilding, dude. They're fucking wilding with that shit.
Hella flashy, man.
What did you hella flashy? What did you?
Hey, at least they're not blue.
Okay, Dalan. What do you think about how it ended, Dalan? Did you kind of like how it? Did you go back and get the multiple endings, or just the one?
I want to go back and get the multiple endings. I got 2 of them, and the ending it fit. I think it was right, but I didn't think it was like as tear jerker as like emotional as a lot of other games that I've played. Yeah. But it was decent. That's the thing. Like I was like, okay, it ended. Thank God, because they need a new start with a new one, I think.
Did you keep multiple saves? Like me in these games, dude, I use every single save that they give me. Every single. I think this one gives you maybe 10, 15, or 20. They give you a lot, right, for this one?
Yeah, because they keep auto-saving throughout a lot of the game, so they're really good at it. But at points where you really need to make a decision, like the ending part or like when you're romancing certain characters, then you're going to need those extra saves.
Yeah, because there is a point, like a lot of games do, where it's like, okay, after this point, be ready, because you're not going to be able to go back, right? So, but going back and getting the multiple endings I don't think it was too hard. But yeah, some of it, I think maybe 1 or 2, it does require like an hour of backtracking or something like that. Or you would have had to like romance this character and met that character.
Yeah, you need to complete certain missions in order to progress those certain types of paths for that ending.
Yeah. Hey, if you want any more of this, that kind of flavor though, Outer Worlds. I don't know if you've played it. Outer Worlds.
Oh, I love that game. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What else you've been playing, Dale?
Yeah. Well, I'll just go over these ones really quick because like I've just been on since Nintendo was announcing that they were going to be closing the eShop for the 3DS and the Wii U, I was just buying up all these games and I haven't had a chance to play them yet. So I was playing Pokemon Crystal the other night, and like I played like the OG one. Then this is like the third version of Pokemon Gold and Pokemon Silver, so like the second gen. And like I was just like, I'm gonna play this and go to sleep. That's what the plan was. But then I end up playing it for like 2.5 hours in one sitting because I don't know what it is about those old gen games.
Time gets away from you. It takes forever to go from one side of the map to the other. That's like going across town is a half an hour.
You like trudge through the grass and it just like and you have to battle, and I was like, okay, one more, just that one more thing.
You're talking about Crystal, or you're talking about different Pokemon? Crystal specifically.
Yeah, Pokemon Crystal.
To throw Luis into the mix here. Luis, do you have a favorite Pokemon of the older-ish classic? Did you play Crystal? Perhaps.
I played Crystal. Yeah, it was one of my favorite ones of that like Game Boy era.
Do you feel like it was time consuming as hell?
Dude, I was a kid. I didn't care. The longer the game, the better.
What is this time?
I didn't care.
All the time.
I didn't care.
It's like, I don't have responsibilities. I just have this game.
Did Crystal have a certain hook?
Maybe Yellow was the one that I played the most. I think that one was good.
And I hope.
Wait, was Yellow the one where they actually put Pikachu in it?
Pikachu was on the cover.
Yeah.
Pikachu was on the cover. Yeah. Wait, Pikachu was in the other ones though too, right? Blue and red.
I think at some point they didn't have a Pikachu in the game
as a starter Pokemon.
Yeah, and
I think they changed some things in there to match the movie too. Like the Pokemon the movie came out, and so I think they matched a couple of that stuff.
Well, it's the first couple games, right? They were like, we're onto something. Let's get a Pikachu version out there, right? With the yellow Game Boy and the yellow cartridge. That's the one I had. I had the yellow Game Boy and the yellow cartridge of Pikachu. It's definitely, so I'm glad you're going through Crystal and you're going through some other things, and you've spent like $20,000, right? Apparently before this thing showed up, right?
Yeah, no, I don't even want to look at that invoicing that I keep getting. Like every time I buy something, Nintendo sends you, like, thank you for purchasing this.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I have like 30 of those emails.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to look at it right now, but it's like that one, and I've been playing Zelda Ocarina of Time because I haven't played it since way back in the day when it came out, and that game is still amazing. Oh my God! I mean,
Did you beat it?
No, I just got past the Deco Tree, like the first dungeon or whatever.
Oh, you haven't even gotten to the nitty gritty of what makes that game really fun.
I just started it like last night, and I was just like fucking around in it, and I was like, damn man, like the game design is so like it's not like convoluted, it's straightforward, but still fun to play. And
that game is solid. I will say getting the first sword and shield was a little confusing when I first did it, but once you get that first sword and shield, you're off to the races.
And
right?
you're playing the
white man term,
you're
Carlos.
Playing the thank you, Dalan. And you're playing the 3DS version of Ocarina of Time?
The Wii U version.
Okay.
So it's the emulated Wii U version or whatever they use for it.
Because I will say that's the first time I played Ocarina of Time was the 3DS version. I actually played the first Zelda that I actually played through to the end was what's the one that came out on the Wii? That's my first Zelda game.
Oh, you're talking about Skyward Sword.
No. Before that, when there was a game.
Oh, you're talking about Twilight Princess.
Yeah, that was my first Zelda. And I remember having the Wii controller. Like I bought it because I was like, yeah, I never played through a Zelda game. I don't know what I was playing. I was definitely playing some crappy games during my grade school days, not playing Zelda. But I did play.
You're out there playing Wild Arms too much,
dude. And you know what is funny? It was waggle controls, but it was funny. There was a boss where you have to kind of stab their eyes. It was so visceral, dude. Like the fact that I was like swinging into poking his eye out. I was like, oh damn, this is what they've been playing in Ocarina of Time, which is
Violent.
They didn't have waggle controls and all that. But I did eventually go back and play Ocarina of Time. I don't agree if it's like. I don't appreciate you guys saying like it's frictionless gaming. There's some friction.
No, I didn't say frictionless.
Yeah.
I said it. Well, that wasn't the word I used. I can't remember the word I used.
You said it was so smooth or something.
Whatever. It's a solid game. That's what I said. It's a solid game.
Yeah.
That's one of those games I could go back anytime. I don't care if it's got its 16-bit octagonal stuff going on. It was too much of a fun game.
Yeah,
they knew how to make that game fun.
Like the mechanics of that game, since like all the other 3D games come out, like Wind Waker and whatnot. I don't remember ever like the moment to moment things that happened in each one of the dungeons back in Ocarina of Time, but like I know and I could identify like what I need to do. Like, oh, I have to use my shield in this case, or I have to use like my slingshot in here. Or I need to burn this in order to get past this area or something. It's like
that's lava.
Yeah, but like that's like stuff that's like pervaded the whole series up until now, and it it's timeless. Like the way that
look,
it's all
I hope
set
you
up.
feel that way up until when you get to that water temple. I hope you feel like that good about that. That definitely.
Hey man,
that
I
was
kind of
not
hate the
good.
water temple in Skyward Sword. That
Oh,
was a lengthy water temple thing.
but yeah, no, Ocarina of Time is definitely, it's probably one of the best games ever made, but it's a little rough going back to it. I gotta admit,
It is
it's
not. Go back and do it again. You
I
won't
don't
say
want
that.
to. I'll go back to Mario
Man,
64. I'll
we
go
got
back
these.
to I'll go back to Metroid Prime. I'll go back.
We've
to that.
got 8-bit games being released today as brand new games. Talking about this is the newest thing. You can't go back to Ocarina of Time where they had full range of motion.
Dude, those early 3D games are rough, dude. That transition of like those early 3D games, like we were getting to the pinnacle of the 2D era, right? And they were like, nope, we're gonna throw a little wrench into this situation. Let's get some 3D games. Let's get some polygons going.
Just don't play Superman 64. You'll be fine.
But what else? Damn, yeah, no, not that. Dale, what else did you play, man? What else you been?
Yeah,
playing,
the final game I really wanted to talk about, and I'm so ashamed, is I've been playing GTA 5 after, I've taken all of your advice to stop, and then I was just like, you know what? No, there's got to be something about this game. And I bought it off of Epic Game Store because they gave you like a $10 coupon, and they told me like, oh, it's expiring.
Yeah.
Like the end of February.
So what, you picked it up for like $20 or something like that?
It was like $5 I picked it up for because it was on a sale. So I was like, and I haven't played it since Xbox 360. So like,
did you get your free $1 million that they give out every month? Which reminds me, I need to log in.
I claimed that. Thank you. Yes, yeah.
So,
but I haven't jumped online. I've only been on the like single player stuff. So, man, it's good though. It's so like that. Like the dialogue is great. It like some of the controls might be kind of wonky as hell, but like the driving is solid and. Yeah, I don't know.
Until you hit something and you watch your car fly 50 feet into the air for no reason.
You go through the window and then you just go straight through.
See, so just to kind of clear it up a little bit, it's not that I hate GTA 5. It's that the fact that people keep logging in means we don't get a GTA 6. It's so good. The campaign is so good and the audio is so good and the missions are actually fun, whereas with GTA 4 they were like, let's make it serious. Let's bring it down. We don't get a bunch of rockets. You don't get a bunch of wackiness.
Yeah.
And if I recall, that game got Game of the Year and a whole bunch of other awards when it dropped.
GTA 4 or 5.
And they're finally coming out with like a DLC like later this year. So it was just like, oh man, the grips of that game just got hold of me, man.
So which one were you saying, Dalan? 4 or 5 that got Game of the Year? They both did.
5.
Yeah, they both did because they were incredible.
I don't remember 4 getting Game of the Year.
Yeah, I'm sure it did, dude. It was good. It was good.
I'm sure it did.
Yeah, it was good in what it did. It just kind of took a step back on the wackiness, right? They were kind of going a little more ultra realistic with it. Whereas 5's like, yeah, we'll give you a jetpack. Don't worry. Yeah, you can fly around with Luis's favorite crotch rocket or whatever that you're flying around all over this place with. Is that what it's called? Is that not what it's called? Luis?
Crotch rocket. It's a Mark Oppressor 2. Okay. Mark II Oppressor.
There you go. He's flying around all over the place.
GTA 4 did not get Game of the Year. Little Big Planet got Game of the Year that year.
Yeah, but by who?
Damn, then there's rest in peace, Little Media Molecule.
Yeah, Media Molecule.
That one's actually DICE. That was DICE.
No, I'm sure it got Game of the Year by somebody, Dalan. Especially, you can't tell me all these games are like Game of the Year edition by 50 publications. I'm sure GTA 4 got it from someone. But yeah, okay. So you're gonna play through the campaign. It's kind of a long campaign, Dale. That GTA 5 campaign.
I'll dabble in it a lot, a little here and there, but because I still want to get to my priority, which is like Elden Ring and Horizon. So like I need to knock those things out.
It's the greatest game of
all
time.
If I get tired of that, but if I get tired of Elden Ring, because I know I will, because I always do with Soulsborne's game, like I want to go back to something and like just keep chugging through. So
I was, you know what? That's a good point. I was thinking about it when I was playing with it. It's kind of cool as far as like Elden Ring so far for me is the fact that it's like I know I'm gonna die, but I want to try this. I want to try that.
I know I'm gonna die.
But it seems like a game where it's like. I will have little runs in it. Kind of what Returnal should have been, right? Returnal should have been like, I'm going to go and dip into some runs. It was just so frustrating. It's just so frustrating for me. But Elden Ring, I think, might be one of those like, you know what? Let me put on a little podcast on or something. I got a little bit of time. Let me kind of try to kill this thing. So it might be one of those things. But look, GT7 is not out for like 3 more days, Dale. So you got time to beat Elden Ring and Horizon 2. All right, you got time for that. All right,
Try.
good on
Try.
that. One last thing before we get up out of here, I did beat Shenmue 2. Yeah,
And you hated it.
it's rough, man. It's like we were talking about like the early 3D games, and it wasn't that early. Well, it was like a few years into getting into the 3D, but it's interesting, man. That epilogue that they did. Did you play through that, Dale? Did you play through Shenmue 2 or?
Yeah, many times. Yeah.
That
the Bailu
epilogue.
Vision.
That
Yeah.
epilogue is rough, dude. Like they literally want you to walk through a whole forest or whatever. Like it's like, when can we get to the end of this crap? Like I've seen enough. A couple of points. I'm interested. I'm gonna play Shenmue 3, and honestly, it's my mission. It's the disease in my brain that I'm trying to kind of get to. The Shenmue animated series is live, so I will get to 3. But one of the things I was thinking about is like kind of like I've always said that Yakuza is kind of like the spiritual successor to Shenmue, and I still believe that. But I think in one of the ways that it differentiates itself is that in Shenmue 2, it's like Yu Suzuki was wildin', man. He really literally said, we're going to start in Japan. We're going to go to Hong Kong. We're going to go to a middle of a forest. And then in 3, he's still like, we're in the forest. We're in Bailu Village.
Let's just pick
Bailu
it back
Village,
up where we left off.
Where he literally is like, let's go all over the world, right? Like, whereas Yakuza is kind of like, it's very dense and it's nice, but they pretty much keep it right in that like little tiny area, right?
Yeah,
they just make it super dense.
Hovel of Tokyo, basically. Yeah.
Yeah,
where
that
Shenmue is
district.
Yeah, which I'm like, I still think, yeah, Yakuza, we got the better version of the Shenmue, but Shenmue, like, you know, he was doing a lot. Yusuke was doing a lot of like, we're going all over the place. He was trying to make it as epic as possible, and I respect him for that. I don't know if he like completely succeed, because even like the story is kind of like, really, I mean, we're still, eventually he's gonna find out, he's like, oh, revenge is not a thing to do, right? Like the whole time they're telling him, don't be like your father, don't be like him, and there's like a little annoying kid
man.
too.
Waiting for that.
So I think they're gonna finish it with the animated series. I think that's the idea, Dale. That
They
the
should.
animated series is like, well, I'm giving you the story, and to me, honest, I'm perfectly fine. I'll go play the Yakuza games.
We need closure at this point, man.
Yeah.
It's been like 20 plus years now. We need an ending. Like
Yeah.
3 isn't going to be good enough, I think.
We need
Oh,
something.
man.
We need something. But yeah, Shenmue 2, that's kind of in the rear view now. I'll dip into 3 next.
Is Shenmue the Samurai Jack of the video game world?
I don't know. I don't even know what Samurai Jack
I
is.
never watched Samurai Jack.
Oh man, Samurai Jack was one of my epic cartoons, and they did 3 seasons and cut it off. He never got home, and we waited almost 20 years to see the last season. They finally did it. Everybody was calling for a movie for years.
Did it satisfy your want for that final season done?
Yes, yes, it did. And it was a total mind-bending situation. I'm gonna keep it PG here, but it was a total mind-bending situation in the way that show ended. And I read some stuff on how Shenmue 3 ended, and it's about as lackluster as Shenmue 2. So good luck.
Did you play through any of them? Did you play through any?
No,
of them,
no, I didn't.
It's super rough, man. It's really a rough game. Like if I wasn't on a mission, I'd feel like I need to stop. I need to stop playing this game. Like it's super rough. Look, the Dreamcast was an amazing system. It gave us a lot, but going back to certain games, it's like, okay, it's kind of good we moved on from that. And I think it was just Sega had the audacity to try a lot of these things, right? And you have to
we
keep
had
that
Sonic
context.
Adventures and Chow World,
and you have to keep that context for Shenmue too, right? That Shenmue 1 and 2, the fact that this is pre GTA, this is pre Grand Theft Auto, this is pre like you know, this is what an open world can be, right? They were like, this is how I think it's gonna be, and it's a nice version of that. And it continues with the Yakuza series. But on that note, that'll be the end of what you've been playing, number 3. Carlos Macias, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm sure we're gonna keep playing some more of these games, and we got GT7, so maybe we hear some GT7 impressions, right? Some Gran Turismo impressions from Dale. He didn't order from Amazon. He didn't cancel his Target order to get the Amazon one, but that's fine. Dale Bloss, thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. We were able to see you this time, Dalan. No technical issues. You didn't bump the mic this time.
I didn't bump the mic.
Get off your soapbox, please, sir. And Luis
no,
Mendez,
never rip off artists.
Luis Mendez, you didn't say too much, but the words you said, man, deep.
They rang.
They rang true. They rang true.
Okay.
They rang true. Luis Mendez on the wheels of steel. Thank you for joining us, sir. We'll see you guys next week. Latest.
But I know Dale wasn't a part of this, but Luis might actually know this, is that when Jeremy Lowe is playing with us, he'll just cold turkey just drop in the middle of a sentence. He knows he's going to bed. He's like, nah, man, I got to go to bed. It's time. Where'd he go? He's gone.
Sometimes he don't even say shit, dude. He just goes to call.
He's just gone.
So, Jeremy does that, but someone else does it too, right? Or no? Is it just Jeremy? I thought someone else.
Yeah, it's mainly Jeremy. Yeah. Probably like Prue or something like that. He's like, I'm gonna go do some.
Prue's polite out there, dude. He says hi when he comes in. He says bye when he leaves.
Yeah, he will. And I mean, he'll set up a whole thing. We're hanging out for my birthday. Hang out for 22 minutes, and he's like, I gotta go. I'm like, okay, Prue. Now you gotta go. Now let's set up the whole fucking evening, and now you gotta go.